Couple other things I want to show you guys here that I have some cool charts on. All right. Let me bring this up here. All right. If we take a look, and everyone is always telling me, and I've heard this a million times over, everyone's telling me that, oh, it's the broadening rally. It's not just the Magnificent Seven that have been carrying this market up. But take a look at this. All right. Here's a chart that shows you, if you look at the S&P, up about 15 to 16% so far this year. If you look at the S&P minus this Magnificent Seven, it's only up about 4%. The Magnificent Seven up 58%. So you can't tell me that this rally is a broad-based rally. No, I'm sorry. The data does not show that. All right? The data does not show. When you have the rest of the S&P up 4% on the year and the Magnificent Seven up 58%, that is not a broad-based rally. And when you combine the two, you're up 15%, right? Maybe 16% now since this graphic was given. All right. The other thing to kind of keep in mind, I mentioned some other technicals, and every time I do these game plans, I always like to look at some of the recent economic news. So again, one of the recent economic news pictures here is tax receipts. And look at what's happening here. All right. Now, this is very counterintuitive because we would assume that the economy is good, right? The economy is doing great. So government should be making lots of tax revenue. But tax revenue has plunged back, getting towards the levels where we were in the pandemic when people were not working. And if you look historically at when revenue for the government declined, it coexisted with recessions. And the reason why this is so important, why declining government tax revenue is important, is because we're not in periods like we were in 2010 or 1980 or 2000 when we had scenarios where the government didn't have as much debt, right? Right now, we are at $32 trillion in debt for this country, and interest rates have just gone up exponentially from basically 0 to 5.25%. And so now you have $800 billion a year right now, and that's going to go up every single year, at least right now, $800 billion that are going to be influencing how much money we're paying in interest. $800 billion in interest alone. Yet we see government tax revenue falling off a cliff, okay? So again, these are the types of things that I want to point out. Lastly, I want to show you this. The industrial production numbers just came out yesterday. They were negative. And what we can also see is industrial production over here is starting to go negative. But if we look in the past, here was COVID. Obviously, COVID, we know what happened there. Here was 2009. But again, same thing. You want to be aware that these can be signals of a slowing economy that could be headed towards recession.